Hello friends, how are you? Hope you all are doing good. I welcome you again to this class of third module, Elements of Valid Contract. Friends, in last module we have gone through the different definitions of contract and also the types of contract. And this time, in this module, we have a long list of do's and don'ts. Obviously, most often when we were small kids, our mamas used to tell us long list. She has a long list of do's and don'ts, what to do when you go outside, what not to do. And then again, when we shifted to school, we again had a list of do's and don'ts from our class teacher and in fact principal. And when we came to college, of course, most of us have been a hostler, we have seen lots of do's and don'ts again from our warden and hostel staff. So accordingly, this module is also the do's and don'ts of a valid contract. What shall we do and what shall we forbid, or what shall we not do in order to make our contract valid and enforceable? So let us see. In this module, we are going to study section 10. Though it seems to be a very small section, but its discussion is going to be very, very long and wide. But don't worry, you don't have to do anything. Just sit and relax and listen to me. And while you are tired, give a pause to your video, have your snacks, have your chips, and then come back again. Okay. Now what section 10 says, what agreements are contract? Section 10 begins with the heading, what agreements are contract? Obviously, that means not all agreements, but certain specific kinds of agreements are contract. We have seen this in first module also and the second module also. So what's new in this third module? This is, guys, we have seen that all agreements which are enforceable by law are contract. But this is not enough. Here in section 10, we'll study what more things are required to make a contract. Agreement we have seen, we are very clear with the agreement, what is an agreement in section 2E. Now the other part, two universal elements we have seen in definitions of contract. One was agreement and the other one was enforceability of law. So enforceability, what is that enforceability of law? What makes a contract able to be enforced? So that able to be enforced, the criteria, the defining criteria for a contract to make it enforceable is what the section 10 provides. Now just have a look to what section 10 provides. Section 10 says all agreements are contract. All agreements are contract if they are made by free consent of parties competent to contract for a lawful consideration of cause and with a lawful object, and are not hereby expressly declared to be void. So these are the elements provided by section 10 itself. And but not only this, an additional clause is provided by section 10 at the last, which says nothing shall affect. What it says? It adds that nothing shall affect any law which is in force in India and requires a contract to be in writing, that is to be written, and to be registered, and of course to be witnessed as well. So usually Contract Act requires only these 4 or 5 criteria, but it also says that if the other laws like TPA and other acts required any contract to be written and other legal formalities like registered and witnessed, then that has also to be complied with. Now, so in this module, we are going to see various elements which I have taken it out from the section 10, the definition of section 10 only. So these are the elements. Like, look, these were only 4 as such: free consent, competent and lawful consideration, and a lawful object. And hereby expressly not declared to be void. But I have split these elements into this 9 list. Okay, 9 numbers. So what's that? The first one is bilateral. Second, offer and acceptance. Third one is lawful consideration. And the fourth one is parties' competency. And the fifth one, free consent. And sixth one, lawful object. And the next is certainty of meaning, and next to it is completion of legal formalities, and the last one, not expressly declared void by law. So guys, we'll have a detailed study, detailed lecture on all of these elements, and so our module is going to be a bit stretched and long. So don't worry, that's nothing to be very complicated or confusing as such. We'll do everything step by step. Now, the first one. What's this first one? Bilateral. What is bilateral? It provides, if you see, all agreements are contract if they are made by free consent of parties. What the term they have used? Parties, not party. It means it cannot be unilateral. You cannot contract with yourself, of course. You need some other person to contract with. So there is nothing any detailed or elaboration. I think it's required for the term bilateral. It's sufficient enough that it cannot be unilateral. Okay. And the next term is offer and acceptance. What's that? It says all agreements. Obviously, if it talks about, it begins with agreements, the agreement requires that there has to be an offer and an acceptance. What requires to be an offer and acceptance? Obviously, the valid offer and the valid acceptance.